So this video is mainly intended for skateboarders because a lot of the jargon and information is going to be kind of more technical. So for someone who doesn't skate at all, it might sound a little bit like this.
Drew, did you consciously kind of shorten your motion? Like what I remembered you at Purdue, it was like this.
Yeah, I was a bit longer, yeah. At some point I widened my base.
Yeah, I see that too.
And so now it's a shorter stride.
Interesting.
So I feel like the ball's coming out faster.
I wonder if that your
if
feet
you're tying it all together, yeah.
Interesting.
But you can definitely watch it even if you don't skate, because this video really documents my journey to learn a new skateboarding trick for me, which combines a few different elements, and it's known as a Kickflip Nose Manual. Now, for me, the hardest part actually wasn't the motion. It was kind of committing to the nose manual after. Some prerequisites are definitely kickflips. You have to have a kickflip for it to work, and you have to have it down pretty consistently. Definitely have nose manual locked in every time. And I'd say another prerequisite that'll just help at least is have kickflip manual pretty consistent too. Because it's kickflipping into something is definitely different than just doing it on flat ground. Just to jump kind of into what I figured out, the main thing was with the kickflip, I started to do it so that it would purposely land nose first. So if you watch this, I'm going to try to slow it down. Once the kickflip is initiated, I'm already starting to lean forward, so it's flipping downward instead of normally it flip flat or even upward if it was a kickflip manual. So I'm purposely flicking it downward so that as soon as I land it, I'll already be in the nose manual position. Now, as you can see, I did that many times, and it worked out a lot of times, but the hardest part after that is then staying on the board and committing to the nose manual. Because as any skateboarder knows, nose manual is a lot harder than manual, because if you overcommit to it, then the nose you're going to touch and you'll fall off the board or something will happen. But anyway, yeah, those are the main steps to doing it. And obviously, just like everything in skateboarding, for most of us regular humans, repetition is the key. Just repeating it over and over again. And this video is showing how many times, I didn't video all of them, but this is showing many of the times required before the trick was finally learned. And as you can see, it was not even just one day, it was multiple days of trying this trick. And even before that, even before trying the trick, I had to visualize that I could even do the trick. It was something that I'd always thought was a beautiful trick, seeing it done, but I didn't think I had the consistency needed. But once I started getting kickflip manual consistently, and I was getting my nose manuals better and tricks out of them and everything like that, that I started thinking that this could be a possibility. And so step number one was mentally visualizing it as being possible. Step number two is getting that kickflip nose manual motion so that the kickflip lands on the nose or on those front two wheels pretty much every time. And step number three, which was the hardest for me, is then committing to ride that away, committing to ride it out. And really those are the main tricks, and those are the main tips. The actual hardest spot for me was finding a good manual pad, and during this time they had shut down the skate parks, so I was kind of confined to the streets, and most of my street spots that I know are not good manual pads, or I would get kicked out pretty quickly. And I knew this trick would require a lot of time. So I found this spot kind of behind, on the side of and behind like a little gym thing that I'd been to before, and I was just trying it here, but it would have required like, I don't know, a 7 or 8 second manual at least, and curving around to the left to land it. So this was not an ideal spot to land it, but I was just trying to get that Kickflip Nose Manual and ride it out for a few seconds. The second spot you see here is kind of in a similar area. It's just behind like a big strip mall area, and it was very crusty, like rough stuff on the ground. And this spot also had poles around it. It had a bunch of popcorn for some reason. I don't know why. I guess someone was watching a movie out there or something. And it also had a strange man that came by and bothered me for about, he wasn't like trying to get me to leave. He was just kind of, I think he wanted someone to talk to, and I never skate with headphones in or anything, so I couldn't send that clear message to him. But yeah, he offered me some liquor and a plethora of unsolicited, unwarranted advice that I honestly felt like if he wasn't there, I probably would have landed it and gone home there. But I didn't, and then it made me even hungrier, I guess, for the trick.
Though you may find from time to time complications, yeah. Fly to live and take a trip. Ahead and you cannot slip. Just move on up and peace you'll find. Into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. Hush now, child, and don't you cry. Your folks might understand you.
And I went to a skate park, and this is the final spot that you can see me going to land this trick. And the skate park obviously is the cleanest, smoothest manual pad. The ground is super smooth. The manual pad's low, smooth. Everything about it's very, very easy. And the only thing that can sometimes make this spot hard is too many people. But there weren't many the day I went, and it was pretty easy to do and a pretty easy spot to land it. And now my next goal is to find a street spot that I can take this to that isn't so crusty and isn't crowded and I don't get kicked out of, and land it in the streets and keep trying it. So that's it. Yeah, thank you to all those people who kind of supported me throughout it, or supported me in skateboarding in general, and just want to give a shout out to Chad for hooking me up with my skateboard shoes that I'm using right now. Before that, it was my grandma. Skateboards come from my cousin Nicole, who you can see on a podcast with me. And another skateboard. Oh shoot, what is his name? Another skateboard came from a local skater at the skate park when I snapped my board. He gave me one for free, which was really nice of him. that's it. I'm gonna keep skating, keep learning, and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I don't really intend to do this as a series, but there might be another trick that I learned that's a real challenge that I want to share, and then I'll do it. But otherwise, I might not. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.